All right, so Kendrick Lamar
Okay.
dropped a surprise album,
Yeah.
GNX. Like,
Oh.
no warning, no pre-release singles,
Yeah.
just 12 tracks,
Yeah.
just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think an artist at his level would need to pull a stunt like this, would you?
That's interesting, isn't it?
It's Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, it really goes against the usual carefully planned releases
Yes.
we've come to expect from someone like Lamar.
Right.
Especially, it feels like he's making a statement
Yes.
about being in control, about doing things his way.
Exactly. We're going to unpack all of this
Okay.
with two articles, one from the New York Times and another from Pitchfork.
Okay.
First things first, what do we actually know about GNX?
So it arrived on November 22nd, 2024,
Okay.
with those 12 tracks. The cover art shows Lamar leaning on a classic black muscle car.
I saw that.
And that theme continues in the teaser video.
Okay, so we got the basics, but this isn't just any album drop, is it?
No, absolutely not. There's a lot of context here
Right.
that makes it even more interesting. So this is his first album since Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers back in 2022.
Wow. So
So there's been a 5-year gap.
that's a long time.
That's a long time for an artist who's constantly evolving.
Yeah.
And this is also his first release since leaving Top Dog Entertainment.
Right.
He's now under his own creative agency, Peaslang, which he runs with Dave Free.
So this is like a whole new era for him. He's coming off a critically acclaimed album. He's had those huge tracks back and forth with Drake, like that and Not Like Us. Plus, he's got the Super Bowl halftime show coming up in February.
Wow.
It's like he's at a turning point.
You're right. It does feel like a pivotal moment. And dropping GNX right before the Super Bowl. That's not a coincidence.
That's pretty crazy.
It feels very deliberate, like he's making a statement.
Okay, let's get into some of the tracks themselves.
Okay.
Pitchfork dives into some of the details. One that stands out is Wacced Out Murals.
Oh, yeah.
It seems to be directly addressing the Drake feud, even name-dropping the AI diss track, Made Freestyle. It also touches on the Super Bowl. And even Lil Wayne's reaction to not being picked
Oh, wow.
for the halftime show.
That's interesting. What's fascinating about that
Yeah.
is how Lamar uses these real-world events to explore something deeper. You know, it's not just about the drama of the feud. It's about the pressure that comes with being in the spotlight,
Yeah.
how it affects him.
Then there's Squabble Up,
Oh, yeah.
which we got a glimpse of in the Not Like Us music video. And we can't forget the SCA features just on 2 tracks, Luther and Gloria.
The SCA collaborations are really interesting. Remember, she was his label mate at TDE.
Oh, right.
So it shows those creative relationships are still strong, even though he's moved on.
Yeah.
And Gloria has even more layers,
Oh,
with features from regional Mexican musician Diera Barrera
Okay.
and Ink. This hints at a really diverse range of sounds on the album.
and speaking of diverse sounds, there's Heart P6, the latest in his Heart series. It seems like a direct response to Drake's diss track, The Heart Part 6.
Okay.
You could almost see it as Lamar closing the loop on that whole back and forth. But it's more than that, isn't it?
It is. Heartbite 6 is deeper than just a response track.
Right.
It seems to be a reflection on his whole journey, touching on TDE Black Hippie and his reasons for wanting that creative independence. It's like he's giving us a glimpse into his personal evolution as an artist.
So it sounds like there's a lot to unpack on this album, both musically and in terms of the context surrounding it.
Yeah.
And we see some familiar names in the production credits. Sam Dew, Jack Antonoff, and Soundwave. These are longtime collaborators.
Yes, these are names we've seen on his previous albums. The fact that he keeps working with them says a lot about their shared creative vision. They understand his artistic language, but they also push him to try new things.
You know, I was just thinking, we've talked about how Lamar is stepping away from TDE,
Right.
and that collaboration with SCA on Gloria really highlights that. But it also brings in something new. Diera Barrera and Ink.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a combination you see every day.
It's true. It suggests that he's not just looking back at his roots, he's also branching out,
Right.
exploring new sounds and influences. That regional Mexican influence is something we haven't really heard from him before, have we?
Not really, no.
It makes you wonder what other sonic surprises he has in store for us on this album.
It's like he's simultaneously acknowledging where he's come from and pushing the boundaries of where he's going.
Right.
It's this interesting tension that seems to run through the whole album.
Yeah.
Speaking of interesting, Pitchfork pointed out something else.
Oh, really?
Remember how we were talking about how this isn't just any album drop? How the timing seems deliberate.
Uh-huh.
Well, it turns out Lamar isn't the only one with new music out today.
Oh, you're talking about Josh Tillman, right? Better known as Father John Misty.
Yeah.
It's incredible. They've both released albums on the same day 5 times now.
Look.
2012, 2015, 2017, 2022, and now 2024.
Wait, 5 times?
Oh, yeah.
Are you serious?
That can't be a coincidence.
It's almost spooky, isn't it?
Do you think there's something more to it, like some kind of unspoken artistic connection?
It's definitely a wild coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
But it does make you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe they're subconsciously feeding off each other's creative energy, even if it's unintentional.
Right.
And the fact that Tillman even joked about writing a response to Lamar's album, that's just too perfect.
That's hilarious.
It adds another layer to the whole thing.
Okay, this is blowing my mind a little bit. So we've got Lamar already at the top of his game, dropping a surprise album right before the Super Bowl, full of personal reflections, collaborations both familiar and unexpected. And it happens to coincide with another artist, Father John Misty, releasing an album on the very same day for the 5th time.
Yeah.
And don't forget, we still have that teaser video to dissect.
Oh, right.
The article's only mentioned it briefly, but I think it's worth spending some time on.
Yeah, I think so too.
Oh, yeah, the video. I was hoping we'd get to that. What can you tell us about it? Well, visually, it's stunning. It features that classic black muscle car from the album cover, but it's set in this vast empty space.
Okay.
The lighting is stark, almost otherworldly, and the soundtrack, it's this blend of soaring strings
Wow.
and Lamar's signature rapid-fire vocals. It creates this intense feeling of anticipation and mystery, you know?
I can almost feel it. It sounds like it perfectly captures the vibe of the album. It's like it's not just about the music itself,
Right.
but also about creating this whole world,
Yeah.
this whole experience for the listener.
Exactly. He's drawing you into his vision, making you feel like you're a part of it.
Right.
Remember how we were talking about how he seems to be in complete control with this release? The teaser video is just another example of that.
Yeah.
He's carefully crafting every aspect of the experience.
Okay, so we've covered the basics of the album, the context surrounding it, some standout tracks, and even this cosmic connection with Father John Misty. But before we go any further, let's pause for a second. What do you think is the most important thing for our listener to understand about GNX so far?
I think the key takeaway here is that this isn't just an album, it's a statement.
Okay.
Kendrick Lamar is at a turning point in his career. He's embracing his independence, and he's doing it on his own terms,
Right.
defying all the usual industry expectations. And he's inviting you, the listener, to come along for the ride.
He's not just putting out music. He's creating a conversation.
Right.
And it's a conversation that goes beyond the music itself, touching on themes of creative freedom,
Yeah.
evolution, and the pressures of fame. It really feels like Lamar is challenging us to think differently, you know, not just about his music, but about how we consume art in general.
Yeah, he's definitely raising some interesting questions. What does it mean to be an artist in today's world?
Right.
How do you balance commercial success with creative integrity?
Exactly.
And how do you use your platform to say something meaningful? These are questions that resonate far beyond the realm of music.
I think that's what makes it so compelling. It's not just about the beats or the rhymes. It's about using music as a vehicle to explore bigger ideas.
Right.
To challenge our perceptions, to spark a dialogue.
Exactly, and with GNX, he's not giving us all the answers. He's leaving space for us to interpret, to debate, to come to our own conclusions.
Yeah.
It's like he's saying, you know, here's my perspective, my journey. Now go on your own journey and see what you discover.
So to bring it all back to our listener, knowing what we know now about the album, the context, the collaborations, the timing, the teaser video, what do you think is the message Lamar is trying to convey with GNX? What's the big takeaway for you?
Well, for me, it's about evolution. He's not the same Kendrick Lamar he was 5 years ago, or even 2 years ago.
Right.
He's grown as an artist, as a person. He's demanding more control over his art, his narrative, and he's not afraid to take risks, to experiment, to push the boundaries.
It's like he's saying, I'm not going to be confined by expectations. I'm going to keep evolving, keep challenging myself and my listeners.
And he's doing it on a global stage with the Super Bowl right around the corner. This isn't just a musical statement, it's a cultural moment.
Right.
He's using his platform to its fullest potential.
So for our listener, GNX is more than just an album. It's an invitation to engage with Kendrick Lamar on a deeper level, to explore the themes he's raising, to grapple with the questions he's asking.
And ultimately, it's a reminder that art is a powerful force, capable of challenging our assumptions, sparking meaningful conversations, and inspiring us to think differently about the world around us.
So there you have it. GNX is a complex, layered work that demands our attention. It's a statement of creative independence, a reflection on personal evolution, and a challenge to engage with art on a deeper level.
It's an album that will stay with you long after the last track fades out. It's an album that will make you think, feel, and question, and that in itself is a testament to Kendrick Lamar's artistry.
And on that note, we encourage you to dive into GNX for yourself. Listen closely, pay attention to the details, and let the music take you on a journey. See what you discover, what resonates with you, what challenges your perceptions. Until next time, happy listening.